Alright guys, welcome back. 70 degrees, a lot of heat today. It's 70. You'll notice I'm in short sleeves. Last week of October. I didn't really show you guys much of the soybeans this year. It was that whole fiasco with the herbicide. And you can see how bad it looks. A couple different problems with my spray this year. I think I covered this already. I had sprayed and then it rained like 4 inches the next day, and I sprayed it again and it rained 2 inches the next day. It was just not an ideal 2019 for a lot of guys. It's not an ideal year. So but now that the weeds have died back, there are beans in this weed patch, and they don't look too bad. It's just the weeds, so it could surprise me. I had a yield of beans the one year and it looked terrible weed wise, and it was one of my highest yielding fields, so you just never know. But these beans here, now this ground's a little rocky. They're definitely some tall beans. It was a good year for growing soybeans this year. Those are waist high. There's a lot of pods on them, so they are wet yet. They with the inch of rain or inch and a half of rain that we had, can't crack the pods. If I roll it I can, but there it is. 4 beans in this pod. Like I say, this isn't too bad right here. So there you have it. I think I can still, yeah, no point in eating them. I can still squeeze them. So anyway, you'll see the weed mess out there. It was all at mare's tail. I explained that many times. So corn is in the bottom land as far as the moisture. The corn is 21% down in the bottom, which is pretty well average for this time of year. Up on top of the hill, we're down to 17, 16, 8, somewhere in there. So I'm expecting probably a phone call here in the next week or two to begin harvest. If it's later, it's fine. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because it can get drier, and when you get docked for moisture, you want to have it drier. So yeah, for the way this ground is, it grew beans this year. Like I say, this is the pretty well the result. You can see 2017's corn, and these stalks are soft and rotten, so they're decomposing. You can see the old root ball there. So this will be, like I say, this is the 3rd year of no-till. So next year we'll be starting the 4th year, and we'll have corn back in this spot. So all right, on to the next thing. So I want to get this on camera for future reference. I had some crop damage here that was not wildlife related. Hopefully the camera's picking this track up. There was a kid on a 2-wheel dirt bike driving around up here while I was at work, and went right through the soybeans with his dirt bike. And we have already notified the appropriate people, so I just want a visual. I mean, we're taking care of it. I ain't gonna tell you what we're doing, but I just want a visual picture of the damage here that's been done. And down there, we'll take a look at the deer damage. All right, so the deer were eating this. As the crop was growing, this was soybeans planted right to the woods here, and no good. The deer were eating it as fast as it was growing. Now we participate in the Pennsylvania red tag program, which allows hunters to shoot doe out of season, and I think we are up to 7 in the red tag program, and we've had hunters now that hunting season is in get a few. So we're cleaning them up, and if there's still 30 next spring, we're gonna do it again. But this is where it was a bare spot. There were weeds coming up. Came up here with the hand seeder. You guys saw in my past videos spreading radishes, and look at that, beautiful. And you can see the water. This is a problem. This should be going in the waterway, and it's not. It's going around the just spent all that money on a waterway, and now it's going around it. Anyway, the radishes here took off, grew really well. We've got green now growing. Oh, look at this. I'm gonna pull this one out. We have green growing here in a place that would just ordinarily, holy cow, organic matter. And yeah, when that decomposes for next year's corn crop. So I'm a big fan of these. I know I'm always talking about them. I even had some guys make fun of me about them, but I don't care. Gonna be planting them again next year. They are all over in here, basically everywhere the deer ate, and then you got weeds. But don't let it fool you, it does look ugly. There are soybeans here. They're not quite waist high, but they're above the knee, so they'll do okay. And I'm gonna get weeds in the field, weed seeds from the mare's tail going to seed. But not to worry, the corn herbicide will wipe that out. Just looking to be optimistic here. But yeah, this shouldn't be water here. I don't know. Whew, my shoes are leaking. Something's wrong there. And again, I was so ashamed of these soybeans, I didn't even want them on camera. But seeing a lot of the problems guys are dealing with, this is just an ugly year. We don't have, and it's here too. I see a lot of fields that look like this, a lot of them. You'd have an easier time or a harder time finding a field that didn't look like this in the general area, at least to some extent. It's just the way the spring was, so you can see it. There's weeds, but there are beans in there, so we'll see how that turns out. All right, so I'm done scouting the beans. I looked at some corn. The beans are probably going to be the average yield. Like I said, I do 43 bushel every year. It's about what? It's not going to be any better or I don't think it's going to be any worse, we'll put it that way. The corn could go any which way. It's tough. There's so much variation in the corn on the hill. I just can't, like here, the end rows there's nothing. You walk in 10 feet and they're look wonderful, and then you can see the rocky areas aren't so good. There's no consistency. I'll be able to figure out the corn yield once it's all harvested, all the trucks are weighed, and I have a total bushels, and then I can subtract from the total acres. It's the only way I'm going to be able to do it at this point. It's hard to tell. It does look better than 2018 though, I will say that. So I would like to show you guys, this is corn that was grown in that broiler manure. And that fixed this field with the problems I was having for sure. This field was awful. First 2 years it was awful. One thing I can't get over is how high the ears are. I mean, these are pretty well in line with my ears. So yeah, good stuff. I mean, this field was terrible. This field did like, I don't know, 50 bushel the first year. So and now it's a fertilizing it, getting a crop like this, all these stalks and all this organic matter is going to be thrown back down on the ground and decompose and help the fertility of this soil. There was some grass growth in here the way it looks. The weeds kind of got away, but that was later in the season. That was later. That wasn't in the summer. But man, I haven't been in this field to check it since it was top dressed, but what a difference. On top of the hill now with that manure that I put on here, that changed this. This is like what's growing down below. So happy with this.